Well, welcome. I'm Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity. Tonight's presentation, 7 reasons why business today are museums of yesterday. As an awakening introduction, there's never a critique, it's a mirror. As we name the museum, we mask the curator. These 7 revelations never just expose business as usual, they invite a breath line beyond it. They stir the dormant rebel, the sovereign architect, the one who knows that the systems they are never broken, they're designed to preserve obedience. If you really look at the systems today, it's about observing obedience. This is the rupture that reveals the ritual. There's always a better way. It's never new. It's designed here and now. So I'm awakened and aware of the dare to understand the world is wired for speed and saturated with tech. Most businesses still operate like curated exhibits, polished, predictable, and programmed by the past. They flaunt modernization while fearing improvisation, automate strategy while avoiding sovereignty. What looks modern is often just digitized relics. There's 7 reasons that expose how today's enterprise have become museums of yesterday, preserving legacy, logic, worshiping credentials, and silencing the pulse of the now and staying inside everything we think and know. Why we unframe the mind, unleash the moment, liberates free-flowing energy, energizing the profits for companies to rise. So let's crack open the vault where profit meets pulse. Here are 3 clever insights that unframe the mind and unleash the moment. Never just sounds liberating, it energizes the very flow that fuels profit. It dismantles the cage of predictability, frame minds that cling to forecast funnels and formulas, but profit doesn't never pulses from control. It surges from surprise. That's something I've really opened up to. We want the control, we want to have it steady. We're afraid of the surprise on how well our life can be. When the mind unframes, when we unframe the mind, it invites improvisation, intuition, and here and now vibrant energy. That's where the buyer becomes a believer, and profit is never a spreadsheet. It's a spark for the company's business to rise, shine, and energize. It converts static strategy into kinetic energy. Most business plans are dead on arrival, lifeless documents with no breath. But when the moment is unleashed, strategy becomes choreography. Breath lines replace deadlines. Glyphs replace graphs. The team never just execute, they exhale. Energy is contagious. It never just scales it, it ignites it. And that's the thing about what goes on when how much of the business of your business mirrors yesterday and has the same different things going on, but yet the outcomes are the same. It replaces obedience with aliveness. Obedient minds follow scripts. Sovereign scenarios script the moment with colorful scenarios of your desired lifestyle. When a business unframes its thinking, it stops selling and starts transmitting. Customers never just buy, they join. Profit becomes a side effect of presence. Aliveness is the new ROI, return on investment. 7 reasons why businesses today are museums of yesterday. That phrase is already a glyph. It cracks open the glass cases and exposes the dust beneath the polish. Here are three canny key points that reveal why business today often resembles a curated archive of obsolete obedience. And see, that's something that I've really just opened up to in the last little while is obedience. We actually live in socialized obedience. The exhibit strategy, never spontaneity. Modern business showcase frameworks like artifacts, neatly labeled, rarely questioned. Innovation becomes a guided tour, never a wild hunt. They obey the past by not displaying it, never disrupting it. They never build, they preserve. And how is business preserving today instead of expanding? Because we have the same mindsets in business we've had all of our lives. As we think people are for people that they own and control the populace, and they don't. Leadership is performance, never presence. Executives play roles scripted decades ago. The visionary, the manager, the motivator, but these are archetypes, are relics. Social obedience rewards role play, never real time. Resonance, keeping leadership involved in expectation. They never lead, they reenact the same script, the same outcome, same everything. And what businesses today, they monetize memory, never momentum. From legacy branding to proven models, businesses profit from nostalgia. The past is packaged as credibility, yet the reverence becomes resistance, blocking the pulse of now with the pride of the then. They never evolve, they just echo the past. And if you really listen and hearken to wisdom that's being expressed by the media and everything, we all stay inside yesterday. Why business today uses AI and modern technology, yet are museums of the past afraid of the now. AI in the boardroom, but obedience in the bloodstream. Businesses flaunt modern tech like neon signage, yet their core behaviors remain fossilized. Three keen, clever insights that why they use AI and modern tools, they still operate like museums afraid of the now. And this really is, the world is really kind of stuck in yesterday, because I always ask myself when I wake up, as my day's going, I said, how's today mirroring yesterday? The only way you rise out of yesterday or the past is here and now. They automate the obsolete. AI is deployed not to disrupt, but to accelerate what's already outdated. Businesses use machine learning to optimize legacy systems. Never question them. It's obedience with a faster processor. They never evolve. They digitize the dust. They fear intuition more than inefficiency. Modern tech can predict trends, but it can never pulse the presence. See, that's the thing about AI and so much in computers, they only run off of what's put in them, and most of what we put in them today comes from yesterday. AI becomes a shield from the now. Business cling to data because it's easier, it feels safer than instinct. AI becomes a shield from the now. They never trust the moment, they stimulate it. Why business mindsets lack a fluent acumen to understand people are their profits. And that's something, they always want to cut wages, do everything, but the people's wages and everything they're cutting is their profits. So that way they can run and get campaign contributions and move forward. Here's 3 canny, clever key points that reveal why most business mindsets lack the affluent acumen to recognize people as their true profit. They count currency, never currents, and people are the currents, because people actually keep businesses going. We want to all be cut, but when you cut so much and then people quit coming, what happens? Affluent acumen is never about stacking dollars. It's about sensing energetic flow. Most business minds are trained to chase revenue, never reverence. They miss that people generate the pulse, the culture, and the contagious belief that builds momentum and movements, rises a business upward and forward. True wealth is never in the ledger, it's in the loyalty. The lived resonance and the human ignition they overlook. Everybody wants to take credit, so they give all their business plans and all that to credit, but they never give it the people. And today we're trained to be consumers and never savers. This savers of money, and I'm poor at saving money, I'll admit that. But if you really look at the world, it's caught up in consumer. I have to have more than you, so that makes me feel good. That's the biggest lie we all live. And am I guilty? Hell yes. They inherit models, never wisdom. Executives mimic what worked before, mistaking repetition for wisdom. They inherit frameworks built on extraction, never expansion. Fluent acumen requires sovereign sensing and sovereign activation, understanding when a person's presence is more value than their productivity. Yet legacy logic sees people as cost centers, never as catalysts. That's something I always laugh at. When does a company start making money? As soon as production starts and that product hits the market. Because all the money going into management money is pretty much dead-end money. What I mean by that is once it goes up there, it never comes out. But the hourly workers, their money flows upward because the product that goes out is done by them. All the middle management all the way to the CEO can go home for 30 days and the business will still profit. Them production workers go home for 30 days. A company's kind of in a small bind. Business minds crave control, so they sideline what they can never measure. But a fluid acumen embraces the wild and relational, the sacred mess of the human value. It's really the mess of the mystical value of people. Until they honor what can never be counted, they will never profit from what truly counts. Why business think they are modernized, yet they think and know everything they think and know is from yesterday. Here's a sovereign slice of illusion of progress. Businesses wear modern tech like a costume, yet their thinking still smells like mothballs. 3 medium cut, clever, astute insights into why company businesses think they're modernized, yet every move is choreographed by yesterday's ghosts. They've updated their tools, never their veracity and vigor. They've got the AI dashboards and the cloud-based CRMs, yet their beliefs behind their decisions are rooted in industrial-aged obedience. Scale over soul, control over innovation, metrics over understanding. They never innovate, they accessorize the past. Their strategy is a remix, never a rupture. Most modern business plans are just rebranded versions of old school models. They swap vocabulary, agile for efficient, disruption for dominance, but the architecture remains hierarchical, extractive, and fear-based. They never evolve. They reward the relics. They mistake speed for sovereignty. Fast decision, rapid pivots, instant analytics, yet all in service of yesterday's goals. They fear the now because it's unscripted. So they race forward while staring backwards, obeying the old paradigms with new technology. They never lead, they loop. Why indoctrinated education and business mindsets create unrealized business museum. This slices through the velvet ropes of corporate exhibit halls. Indoctrinated education and business mindsets never shape behavior, they create stagnation. Here's three clever key points on why they create unrealized business museums. They teach obedience as intelligence. Education system reward memorization, never revelation. Business mindsets this absorb this, mistaking conformity for competence. The result, enterprises that display credentials never innovation, as they showcase what's been approved, never what's alive and thriving here and now. They never build, they archive. And that's something they really see. That's a lot of things that computers do is they archive things. Business schools canonize frameworks like sacred tests. Porter's five forces. They become glass cases, never launch pads. Leaders replicate instead of imagining the now. Innovation becomes a reenactment, never a rupture, never an inner rupture with an inner rapture of your divine good. They never lead, they label. We'll repeat that. They never lead, they label. And that's the thing, they label. And if you really look, they don't want innovative people. They want people that are going to pat the bosses on the back and tell them they did good. They fear the now because it can never be indoctrinated minds crave metrics and rubrics and roadmaps. The present moment is wild, unmeasured, and unbranded. So businesses retreat into the past where success is definable, failure is a case study, and never a ceremony. You're going to fail your way to success, and that's something that I discovered. They never express, they exhibit. Why computers and AI limit your business profits. This is just giving everybody a different way to view their life and to view everything. Some canny key points on why computers and AI, when worshipped instead of listened, can quietly cap your business profits. They optimize the known, but yet paralyze the unknown. AI thrives on patterns, but yet profit often hides in the paradox, the unsavory. It really hides in the mess of everything. Money is messy. Money's messy. Optimizing now, energizing the Yezabazabs. When businesses over rely on algorithms, they flatten the friction that bursts innovation. The machine says refine, sovereign says rupture. So when you rupture something, it bursts. And that's all the unwanted stuff leaving. Profits is never in the data. it's in the deviation. They seduce you into outsourcing intuition. Computers can calculate, but they can never conjure or understand the contours of your life. As leaders defer to dashboards instead of breath lines, they lose the pulse of the moment. As AI can forecast trends, can never feel the timing. Intuition is the original profit engine. Unprogrammable, unreplicable, unrehearsed, uneducated in the flow of the now. They create the illusion of a scale while starving the soul. Automated systems promise reach, but often dilute resonance. You can scale a message, never a movement. AI can replicate your voice, but it can never carry your essence. And see, that's one thing. How's AI and the computers taking the essence of life away from us? Profit without presence becomes performance without pulse. Why businesses today rely on artificial intelligence, shutting down their innate free-flowing intuition, imagination, innovation, inspiration, distrusting your sleek, unique talents. This hums like a breath line through the motherboard. Businesses bow to artificial intelligence as oracle instead of an instrument. They never just lose the edge, they lose the essence. Here's clever astute insights to where AI's reliance shuts down on the sovereign spark. AI rewards predictability, never intuition, dances with the unknown. Businesses crave certainty, so they feed the machines patterns. As intuition is never a pattern, it's a pulse of the unknown, uneducated, unrehearsed within people. It's the whisper before the data, the understanding before the metrics. When AI becomes the compass, imagination gets quarantined. They trade the wild for the map, and the prophet loses its poetry. Innovation gets filtered through algorithms that fear the anomaly. AI is trained to detect outliers and correct them. As your sleek, unique talents are outliers, the system sees your originality as a noise and never a nectar. As businesses prune their very genius that could rupture the market, they never scale brilliance, they sanitize it. Inspiration becomes a suspect when can never be outsourced or cited. AI demands inputs, citations, and data sets. As inspiration inputs less, it arrives unannounced. Breath-born, untraceable wisdom is what inspiration is. Businesses distrust what can't never be proven, so they dismiss what can never be programmed. They never trust the spark unless it's a spreadsheet. This is one of my favorites right here. Why business today is stuck in third world and trapping mindsets and ancestor programming. This cuts through the ancestral fog, opening up sovereign clarity. Scarce businesses remain stuck in third world mindsets and ancestral programming because scarcity is still the sacred script. Most businesses operate from inherited trauma, hoard, compete, extract. These are colonial echoes, never the conscious choices of the here and now. The third world mindset isn't never geography, it's energetic poverty. It's a distrust of abundance. Every $1 billion brand behave like beggars in disguise. That's why. Why do $1 billion brands behave like beggars in disguise? They never build wealth, they barricade it. Ain't that what's going on today? They're barricading wealth. Hierarchy is mistaken for harmony. Ancestral programming taught obedience to power, never innovation. As businesses replicate pyramids, CEOs as God, workers as widgets, this mindset traps innovation in approval loops and kills sovereignty at the scale. They never lead, they lord. Systems are worshipped, souls are silenced. Business today still genuflects to systems birthed in industrial control, efficiency, and productivity scales. These were designed to manage machines, never ignite the autodidacts of the world. That's a self educated person. So I'm an autodidact, never a human. This results in ritual-less enterprises that distrust intuition, imagination, and inspiration. They never evolve, they echo. That's something I really, really have awakened to. And when I was working, you know, management says they wanted your ideas, but they never did. Why AI, technology, wisdom, and insight, clarity increase their bottom line over trusting technology all the way. Here's a sovereign precision. These are three medium astute insight rich key points for you. Clarity cuts through the noise. AI amplifies it. AI can process data, yet it's wisdom that understands which data matters. Leaders who pay AI speed with intuitive clarity innovate choices that resonate, never just optimize. They never chase trends, they tune into the veracity. Tech without clarity is noise, tech with clarity is signal. Insight sparks innovation, AI scales it. AI can replicate patterns, yet it's autodidact insight that we're using autodidact instead of human. So it says human insight, but we're going to use autodidact insight that disrupts them. Businesses that lead with sovereign insight use AI to scale originality, never automate mediocrity. They never just they never don't trust they don't trust just follow the market, they reshape it. Insight is the ignition, AI is the engine, wisdom grounds strategy as AI accelerates it. AI forecasts, but wisdom understands when to pivot. Leaders who trust their breath line over their dashboard make moves that feel alive. They use AI as a tool, never as a compass. Their bottom line expands because the top line is awake. Wisdom never fears tech, it steers it. Why indoctrinated education, diploma arrogance, and position in the company diminishes your communicative people skills. That's like a polished veneer. One, credential confidence replaces curiosity. When someone's identity is built on diplomas and titles, they often stop listening. They speak to prove, never to connect. The conversation becomes a monologue of expertise, never a dance of mutual ignition. They never ask to understand, they ask to instruct. Position protects, never pulse. Never pulse. High rank high ranking in a company can create a false sense of invulnerability. Leaders start speaking from behind the walls, guarded, rehearsed, and strategic. Real communication requires risk, breath, and presence. Yet, position often breeds performance. They never speak from the pulse, they speak from posture. Education trains answers, never resonance. Traditional schooling rewards correctness, never connection. It teaches how to win debates, never how to feel the room. So when these graduates enter leadership, they often communicate like manuals, never mirrors. They never converse. They broadcast why business and communities are communication connection. They broadcast why everything is done a certain way. So why is communication, connection, contours, and collaboration all tied together for the highest outcome for everybody? Businesses and communication, when sovereignly activated, are never just structures, they're living systems of communication, connection, contour, and collaboration. One, communication is a breath line belonging. When businesses and communities speak with presence, never performance, they create a resonance. Communication becomes a ritual, never a transaction. It dissolves division, ignites trust, invites innovation. The highest outcomes emerge when every voice is a signal, not a statistic. Profits follow pulse. Belonging bursts abundance. Connection is a currency of continuity. True connection is never networking, it's energetic alignment. As people feel seen, heard, and honored, they never just contribute, they commit. Businesses and communities that prioritize connection build movements, not just markets. Connection isn't a feature, it's a foundation. Contour and collaboration birth emergence. Rigid roles flatten brilliance. When businesses and communities embrace contour, fluid leadership, intuitive flow, and shared sovereignty, collaboration becomes the ignition. The highest outcomes arise never from control, but from communication and collective clarity. Collaboration is never coordination, it's innovation. And as we open up to this, and what we really got to understand, we got to open up to really realize this. And I want to thank you. I am Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom.